Good afternoon, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane at Hurricane HD video blog for Sunday, August 5th, 2012. A quick look at the various tracks here of Ernesto. You can see its origin and then the more likely track here into Central America. Not going to pose a landfall threat to anywhere along the Gulf Coast of the U.S. and even folks here along the northeast tip of the Yucatan in the traditional resort areas, Cancun, Cozumel. If you have plans to go there, keep them. This will not be much of an adverse impactor on the weather down in that region. And you can see Florence out here. We'll deal with Florence in a few days, see what happens with that. Until it's safely curving away from the U.S., assuming it does so, we will always keep an eye on such things. Taking a look at Ernesto, very disorganized today. The Hurricane Center mentioning the low and mid-level dry air that is in here. Vertical instability, the ability of the atmosphere to lift and create thunderstorms or convection on a prolific nature and an efficient nature is just not there. The reason, or at least part of the reason, at least what I can figure out, vertical instability running well below the climatological mean right here. And when you see that, when you see a lack, and I mean a strong lack of vertical instability, where it is way below the climatological mean right here, then yeah, you say, all right, well that's got to be a contributing factor, and it is impeding Ernesto's ability to lift the atmosphere and create showers and thunderstorms, convection, which in turn releases heat into the atmosphere, and that helps to keep that engine going. So this is very much like adding water to your gasoline or something. It's just not going to let your engine go at all, and in fact it can cause damage to your engine, as you well know. Dry air, a very, very big killer of tropical cyclones. I would say even more so than cooler sea surface temperatures, because dry air can be immediate. If there is shear and dry air is injected into a tropical storm or a hurricane, it can collapse those thunderstorms in a matter of hours. Whereas colder water takes, sometimes a day, 12 hours to a day, to start to impact the circulation of a hurricane. Looking at the GFS output, the global models, the GFS, the Euro, for example, done an outstanding job forecasting the demise of Ernesto here and what will eventually be a track into Central America, probably not as a hurricane. So this is the current conditions of Ernesto here on the GFS model. Very weak denoted in the model field down here. This is the eastern part of the Yucatan. Then you have Honduras and Nicaragua. And those areas will receive the most impact, more likely just a rain event than anything. Here we are valid tomorrow morning as it approaches the Central American coast here, and a few areas of rain showers and convection noted in the model, but the pressure, 1,008 millibars. You also do not see a lot of isobars in here packed nice and tight. Wait until we get a hurricane anywhere in the Atlantic this year, and I'll show you, you probably already know, I'll show you what it is supposed to look like if you're looking for a healthy system. As it does approach the Central American coast, it does finally close off one little isobar there. Very limited convection noted with it overall. So hopefully even the rain potential here, we're looking at 48 hours out, is not going to be too much. Finally at day 3, a landfall along the southern Yucatan here into Belize. Note that up here along the northeast part of the Yucatan Peninsula, not much weather to be associated with Ernesto. Maybe some passing rain showers and breezy conditions, but even the winds here coming out of the southeast at maybe 10 to 15 miles per hour, not a big deal at all. Finally here at 96 hours, stays buried over the southern part of the Bay of Campeche, the extreme southern part of the bay. Maybe drifts north a little bit by day 5 for a potential secondary landfall in mainland Mexico. Sadly, not enough moisture getting thrown up here into Texas to help with the drought situation. You could certainly use the rain without the hurricane force winds. This is what would be left over of Florence trying to sneak into the picture. You can see it too not even a low pressure area, just a blob of some convective activity, and that's about it. So the tropics, not too big of a deal, certainly not what we were looking at just 24 hours ago. The threat of a hurricane diminishing rapidly for Central America, and hopefully it'll stay that way, and no threat of a hurricane along the U.S. coast, at least for the next 5 days. So I assume this would be great news to you all around. Alright, again, I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Very glad to provide these videos to you in Hurricane and Hurricane HD. Want to make one mention again that we have our own app available now at HurricaneTrack.com. It can be very complementary to what you have here with Hurricane and Hurricane HD. By far the best tracking maps that I have seen in any app. Phenomenal tools. Use Hurricane Track's app for landfalls. It is a great tool. We have several pieces in there to help monitor wind, pressure, live webcams. Plus, we will have a tremendous amount of video blogs going during our missions that we will put into Hurricane Track. And as I mentioned, it can be a great complementary tool. When a hurricane or tropical storm is going to threaten landfall, you can use Hurricane Track to pick up from that point on using Hurricane and Hurricane HD as your fantastic tracking tools to get you there. But boy, once they hit land, our app at HurricaneTrack.com, there will be nothing else like it out there, and I think it'll really impress you. The bad part, we have to have a landfall to really show its true potential. So I wanted to make mention of it for you if you haven't heard about it already. Alright, I'll be back here tomorrow with another video update. Until then, again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.